Imagine having the power to destroy lives with a single signature. For 30 years, a North Korean state security major general did exactly that, sending families to prison camps with one red stamp. Then the system he built turned on him. When Kim Jong-un's Number One Directive marked him for elimination, he faced a choice: die in the camps. He'd send others to, or risk everything for the freedom he'd spent 3 decades denying others. This is the story of a man who enforced tyranny, then fled it. If these stories matter to you, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. Your support helps us bring these untold stories to light. Together, we can be a voice for those who cannot speak. I spent 30 years with the State Security Department. In central Pyongyang, there stood a massive gray building. People didn't dare look at it. That place was my entire life. The day I received my Major General rank, the Supreme Leader himself shook my hand. "I trust your loyalty, comrade." Those words made my chest swell with pride. My fingertips decided people's fates. Each morning, surveillance reports piled on my desk. Who watched foreign broadcasts? Who said something suspicious at the market? One red stamp and that person was finished. I signed deportation orders without hesitation. Entire families sent to prison camps. For the party. For the Supreme Leader. That was my duty. Spring 2024 arrived. A quiet storm began brewing inside the State Security Department. The Supreme Leader ordered a corruption crackdown. At first, I thought it was just routine inspection. We'd done this before. But this time was different. "Comrade Ri, there's a report that your son drives a Chinese car." The deputy director's voice was cold. Sweat ran down my back. My son had imported Chinese goods through the markets. Every state security officer's family did this. We'd always turned a blind eye to each other. Now they were making it an issue. Take a look at the internal investigation list. A colleague handed me documents. My name was marked in red, after 30 years of loyalty. That moment, I understood. This wasn't about fighting corruption. This was a power reshuffle. Someone had to be eliminated. I was on that list. Sleep wouldn't come that night. The faces of people I'd sent to prison camps haunted me. Did they feel this way too? Would my desk be empty tomorrow morning? Would state security agents drag me away? The terror of falling from power overnight, that's what started my escape. The investigation moved faster than expected. Within a week, 3 of my direct subordinates vanished. Rumors said they were arrested on their way to work. Their desks were cleared immediately. No one mentioned their names again, as if they'd never existed. "Major General Ri, the Supreme Leader requests your presence." The secretary called. My heart stopped. Was this my final summons? Would they drag me to the underground interrogation room instead of the office? My hands trembled. The same hands that had interrogated hundreds over 30 years. Fortunately, that day was just a routine report. But the Supreme Leader's eyes had changed. No longer warm. Cold and sharp. I've received reports that the State Security Department is rotting from within. You know this, don't you? I bowed and pledged my loyalty. But in that moment, I knew I was part of that rot. On the drive home, Pyongyang's streets felt strange. The gleaming Ryomyong Street. Mireille, Scientist's Street. The city I'd sworn to protect suddenly felt like a prison. My wife sat pale-faced in our apartment. They came today. State security people. Investigating our son. Her voice shook. Our 28-year-old son had been too reckless. He'd gotten involved in foreign currency business. Dealt with Chinese merchants. All the state security officers' children did this. Now it became evidence against us. The next morning, new documents sat on my desk. Investigation into Major General Ri Chol-min's family relations. A file with my name on it. The same process I'd done to countless others. Now it was aimed at me. Opening the file, my body froze. My son's foreign currency transactions. My brother-in-law's defection attempt. Even a bribery case I'd overlooked 10 years ago. Everything was documented. Someone had meticulously prepared evidence to eliminate me. "Comrade, the party Central Committee has issued a summons for you." A colleague spoke carefully. Central Committee summons. That meant 2 things. Promotion or purge. In my situation, the answer was obvious. That night, I thought about escape for the first time. Leaving the party I'd served for 30 years. The system I'd sworn to protect with my life. I couldn't believe it. But I wanted to live. I didn't want to die in a prison camp. Not like the people I'd sent there. 3 days until my Central Committee summons. During those 3 days, I wrapped up my life. Or rather, I had no choice. Every night I drank. Sleep never came. At 4 a.m. on the second day, an old colleague called. "We need to meet right now. It's urgent." His voice was shaking. We met at 4 a.m. by the Taidong River. No one around. The colleague looked around, then handed me papers with trembling hands. "You're a number one directive target." The Supreme Leader ordered it directly. Eliminate at all costs. The documents bore a red stamp. Number One Directive. The highest level purge order. State security. The People's Army, social. Safety all mobilized to eliminate the target. I was that target. When? My voice trembled too. The day after tomorrow. When you enter the Central Committee office, it's over. You won't come out. The colleague gripped my shoulder. "I'm not saying I want to save you, but we've been comrades for 30 years. I can at least tell you this much." On the drive home, Pyongyang felt like a graveyard. The system I'd sworn to protect was now trying to kill me. The Supreme Leader I'd served had ordered my execution. It felt hollow. 30 years collapsed overnight. I couldn't tell my wife. Couldn't tell my son. If I died, they'd go to prison camps too. 3 generations wiped out. My grandson included. My entire bloodline erased. The next day on my way to work, my driver operated the car as usual. But I knew. They were watching me. Even in the back seat, I couldn't relax. Arriving at the office, my desk drawers had been searched. Someone had been there overnight. At lunch, a trusted subordinate approached quietly. "General, don't come to work tomorrow. A car is ready." He looked me straight in the eye, then bowed. "I haven't forgotten your kindness." Watching him leave, tears came. That night, I decided. I would run. Abandon 30 years of power. Leave Pyongyang. A state security major general becoming a defector. Unbelievable, but there was no other way. I called my wife and son. "We have to leave. Right now." My wife sobbed. "Where to?" "South. To survive." My son nodded silently. In that moment, our family's fate was sealed. At 2 a.m., we finished preparing to leave Pyongyang. State Security Major General Travel Permit. Emergency Contact Network. List of collaborators in the Chinese border region. The last fragments of the power I'd built over a lifetime. Now I had to survive with these. At 3 a.m., we left Pyongyang. In a State Security Major General's official vehicle. At every checkpoint, soldiers saluted as we passed. The irony. My power was helping my escape. The driver was my longtime subordinate. "General, I'll serve you to the end." He gripped the steering wheel tight. My wife and son sat in the back seat, holding their breath. Outside the window, Pyongyang's night scenery flashed by. A view I'd never see again. We passed through Pyeongseong, Anju, heading north. Toward the border region. A journey that normally took 3 days. We had to break through in 1. Before sunrise, we needed to get as far as possible. Before the Central Committee noticed my absence, entering North Hamgyong Province, checkpoints became stricter. "General, where are you headed?" a border guard lieutenant colonel asked. "Border inspection. Special orders from the Supreme Leader." I lied without hesitation. Before a state security major general's authority, the lieutenant colonel didn't ask more questions. But entering Horyong City, the situation changed. The checkpoint was on high alert. All vehicles under search. Defector sweep operation. My heart pounded. Had they already noticed my escape? "I'm State Security Major General Ri Cheolman. Move aside." I put force in my voice. The checkpoint commander rushed over. "General, my apologies, but orders from above." That moment, my driver pulled out his pistol. "General, you need to go now." Gunshots rang out. The checkpoint became chaos. The car charged through. Behind us, pursuit vehicle sirens wailed. The longest 30 minutes of my life. The border appeared. The Tumen River. Beyond the barbed wire was China. We abandoned the car and ran. A man in his mid-50s, I scrambled down the riverbank. Gunshots echoed behind us. "Stop! We'll shoot!" border guards shouted. I jumped into the frozen river. The Tumen in February was freezing, cold that seeped into my bones. My wife screamed. My son grabbed my arm. The driver was shot midway across the river. "General, go." He sank beneath the water. When my feet touched Chinese soil, I was no longer a state security major general, just a soaked defector. Power, position, everything left behind in the Tumen River. Looking back, North Korean border guards aimed rifles from the opposite bank. But they stopped firing. We'd crossed the border. Gasping for breath, we stepped onto snow-covered Chinese ground. We'd survived. But this was just the beginning. The defection of a state security major, general. The Supreme Leader would never let it go. He'd hunt us anywhere in the world. I knew too much. 3 hours after reaching Chinese soil, I realized something. This place wasn't safe either. We hid in a Korean-Chinese village in Yanbian, but North Korean state security agents were already moving. One Korean-Chinese compatriot sheltered us. "General, there's chaos in the north. They've issued a Number One Directive." His voice trembled. The supreme leader gave direct orders. Capture at all costs, dead or alive. 2 days later, my face spread through Korean-Chinese society. With a bounty, $100,000, an unimaginable amount in North Korean money. Whispers began among Korean Chinese. A state security major general defected. He must know incredible secrets. Suspicious vehicles circled near our hiding place. Black sedans. Neither North Korean nor Chinese plates. Special vehicles used by state security operatives. The same vehicles I'd seen for 30 years. "General, staying here is too dangerous." The Korean-Chinese compatriot spoke urgently. "Yesterday, my relative was interrogated by state security people, asked if they'd seen you. Time was running out. We needed to reach Beijing. From there, find a route to a third country. We couldn't take the train. Surveillance cameras at every station. ID checks were thorough. We hitched rides in freight trucks. 3 days hidden in cargo holds to Beijing. My wife and son collapsed from exhaustion. But we couldn't stop. In Beijing, I tried contacting the South Korean embassy. Not easy. Chinese public security and North Korean agents surrounded the embassy area. Someone was tracking my every move. I met with a defection broker. "General, let me be honest. You're too dangerous. This is different from regular defectors." He took a deep drag on his cigarette. "North Korea is tracking you with full force. State security, reconnaissance bureau, even embassy staff in China are mobilized." "Is there no way?" I asked. "There is. Go through Southeast Asia. Through Laos or Thailand to the South Korean embassy." The broker named a price. $50,000. Money I didn't have. "I'll give you information." I played my last card. State security organizational charts. Southern operations plans. People around Kim Jong-un. I can tell you everything. The broker's eyes changed. "With that information, South Korean intelligence will place enormous value on it." A week later, we left Beijing. Boarded a flight to Kunming with forged passports. Passing through airport security was the most terrifying moment. But we made it through. As the plane took off, my wife squeezed my hand tight. Outside the window, Chinese territory faded away. But I couldn't relax. State security agents are relentless. I'd trained them, taught them never to lose a target. Now I was that target. From Kunming to the Laos border by land. A treacherous route through mountain regions. 2 days of travel relying on forged passports, never knowing when we'd be discovered. Entering Laos, a new threat emerged. Intelligence said North Korean state security had requested Laos public security cooperation. "General, Laos is dangerous too. They have ties with North Korea." The broker spoke urgently. "We need to cross into Thailand quickly." We hid one day in Vientiane. In a shabby guest house room, I just stared out the window. Everyone passing on the street looked like state security agents. After 30 years of surveilling others, now I was the one being watched. My wife developed a fever. Weeks of fleeing had broken her body. But we couldn't go to a hospital. Too risky to expose our identities. We bought fever medicine from a pharmacy. My son silently nursed his mother. "Father, can we really survive?" my son asked for the first time. Fear filled the 28-year-old's eyes. "We'll survive. We must." I gave an answer without conviction. But inside, I knew how precarious our tightrope walk was. 3 days later, we crossed the Thai border. Crossed the Mekong River in a small boat at night. Moonlight alone lit the water. My heart pounded like when I crossed the Tumen River. No gunshots this time. But the tension was identical. We arrived in Bangkok. A big city but still not safe. North Korean agents operated in Thailand too. Especially to track high-level defectors like me, they'd use any means. I contacted the South Korean embassy. This time it worked. "This is State Security Major General Ri Cheolmin. I'm requesting asylum." Long silence on the other end. "We need verification. Can you come to a safe house?" The day I met embassy staff, I pulled out evidence I'd kept my whole life. State security ID. Copies of internal documents. Kim Jong-un's handwritten directives. "Is all this genuine?" the intelligence officer asked with a shocked expression. "It's real. I've collected this over 30 years. Can you draw the state security organizational chart? They requested. I drew on blank paper. From top leadership to low-level staff. Southern operations departments. Overseas operations networks. Kim Jong-un's security detail. I drew everything. The intelligence officer's eyes changed. General, the South Korean government will protect you. You'll fly to Seoul on a special plane. Finally, the end was in sight. A month of fleeing was over. My wife burst into tears. My son hung his head. But I knew. This wasn't the end. North Korea never gives up. Kim Jong-un's number one directive was still active. Even if I went to South Korea, as long as I lived, the pursuit would continue. But now I wasn't alone. The Republic of Korea would protect me. The special plane landed at Incheon Airport. April 2024. I set foot on South Korean soil for the first time. Intelligence agency staff surrounded us, moved us to a safe house. No regular immigration procedures. We operated under strict security. Through the car window, Seoul's scenery unfolded. High-rise buildings, cars everywhere, bright signs. A different dimension from Pyongyang. Is this really a country of the same people? My wife asked in amazement. I couldn't believe it either. Before going to Hanawan, National Intelligence Service interrogation began. 1 week, 12 hours daily. State security organizational structure. Kim Jong-un's ruling methods. Southern operations plans. Nuclear weapons-related information. I poured out everything I knew. The information you've provided has enormous value for our national security. The intelligence officer said. The internal power structure of state security and Kim Jong-un's inner circle movements. These are contents we're confirming for the first time. I paid back 30 years of experience in full. During interrogation, I heard shocking news. My family in North Korea had been executed. Colleagues who helped me were purged too. The Korean-Chinese compatriot who hid you was also repatriated. My escape had led many people to death. Every night, nightmares came. People I'd sent to prison camps appeared. General, now it's your turn. They pointed fingers. The things I'd done over 30 years tormented me in dreams. Life at Hanawan began. I received education alongside regular defectors. Awkward at first. A state security major general sitting in the same classroom as market vendors, soldiers, students. But I soon realized, here, we were all just defectors. Uncle, what did you do in the North? A young defector woman asked. Just a civil servant. I dodged the answer. Couldn't reveal my identity. Security reasons, yes. But more than that, shame. Freedom felt strange. Supermarkets overflowed with goods. Convenience stores open at 11 p.m. Internet access to world news. Real-time updates on North Korean news. This was freedom. But fear didn't disappear. Walking the streets, I looked over my shoulder constantly. Someone seemed to be watching me. Afraid North Korean operatives would appear. Intelligence assigned bodyguards. But anxiety continued. Father, we're safe now, right? My son asked. I couldn't answer. Kim Jong-un's number one directive was still active. How many cases of overseas defector assassinations? I was the person who'd approved those operations. Graduation day from Hanawan. Receiving my certificate, I thought I'm now a citizen of the Republic of Korea, a citizen of a free democracy. But I can't erase my past. 30 years of actions. People who died by my orders. That guilt will follow me for life. 6 months since arriving in Korea. Living in a safe house on Seoul's outskirts. Bodyguards always nearby. Kim Jong-un's number one directive still active. But I'm not afraid anymore. Because now I have work to do. Intelligence regularly requests consultation. General, there were recent personnel changes in state security. Could you analyze them? My 30 years of experience now serves the Republic of Korea's security. Not for the North Korean regime anymore. For protecting freedom. A university requested a lecture. Please testify about the reality of North Korean state security. At first, I wanted to refuse, afraid of revealing my past. But I decided, realized that silence was also a crime. I stood at the podium. Hundreds of students looked at me. I was a North Korean state security major general. With that first sentence, the auditorium went quiet. For 30 years, I sent countless people to prison camps. My hands are bloodied. Students' eyes changed. Some looked shocked, others angry. But I want to tell you how cruel the North Korean system is, how Kim Jong-un's regime oppresses the people. This must be known. Former State Security Major General Defector exposes Kim Jong-un regime's reality. North Korea reacted immediately. We will definitely punish the traitor Ri Cheolmin. Korean Central News Agency threatened me by name. My son entered university. Seeing him walk campus with South Korean students brought tears. Father, I didn't know freedom felt this good. His first taste of freedom at 28. My wife attends church now. I'm asking God for forgiveness. For what you did. I went along once. The pastor spoke. Salvation comes to those who repent. Can someone like me be forgiven? I think of family left behind in the north. My younger brother, my nephews, all dragged away by guilt by association. I condemned them to death to save myself. This guilt I'll carry for life. But I can't stop. If I stay silent, North Korean people's suffering stays buried too. I'll keep testifying. How state security surveils the people. How Kim Jong-un rules through fear. This is how I atone. Yesterday, I testified before the National Assembly. The international community must act to improve North Korean human rights. Assembly members, listen to my words. I hope my voice reaches our North Korean compatriots. I'm no longer a state security major general. I'm Ri Cheolmin, citizen of the Republic of Korea. Someone who protects freedom and speaks truth. Kim Jong-un still tracks me. But I'm not afraid. Truth is stronger than bullets. Fellow North Koreans, freedom exists. Someday you'll enjoy this freedom too. On a unified Korean peninsula, we'll meet again. Until that day, I won't stop testifying. This is my new mission.